First and foremost, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying your winter and staying warm wherever you are in the world. Let's get into this subject regarding how I called forth the Spirit. About 4 months prior, I had summoned Beelzebub for the first time. And, the way I came across Beelzebub was originally throughout that first demonic experience at the age of 16. Okay? I didn't know it was this spirit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the video prior to this, okay? Nevertheless, I essentially was working with a Venetian entity, okay? Learning about psychic abilities as well as love magic. And that was an experience in itself, which I will talk about. And I'm not talking about enchanting people to fall in love with you, ladies and gents. All right? We're definitely going to delve into the lessons of love and what I've learned, and also what I've learned throughout reading hundreds and possibly thousands of people and their love situations. All right? So I'm looking forward to telling you my insight and what I've learned about love throughout this experience of exploring the occult. I had contacted the spirit in November, okay, for the first time. By this point, I had already worked with Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, and Astaroth. You got to consider that these spirits are very ancient, and different traditions and cultures give them different names. Now, all these spirits, all these ancient gods, such as Zeus, such as Eris, such as Aphrodite, all these different gods have been demonized under the Christian religion. So for each ancient spirit, there is a demon name. Okay? Nevertheless, I was working closely with Astaroth, and Astaroth was an amazing experience. And Astaroth deserves a whole presentation. All right? Because Astaroth showed me a lot regarding my own psychic abilities, but I learned a lot of protection magic. I learned a lot of... You see, Astaroth was the first spirit of the infernal divine that I contacted. And a lot came with that experience. A lot of, I had to essentially learn how to banish negative spirits that would linger around. Nevertheless, I experienced a sense of clairvoyancy. Astaroth was the second entity that had manifested to me in light, in a brilliance of light, in an orb of light. And nevertheless, Astaroth was wonderful, and I learned a lot. I was sleeping one day, and I just began to say, Beelzebub, 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 Beelzebub. And I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? Beelzebub? I didn't know what Beelzebub was. It sounded familiar, but I didn't know what it was. I'm telling you, I didn't know who or what Beelzebub was, but then I did research and I came to find out that he comes out in the Bible. In fact, Jesus was accused of getting his power to expel demons by Beelzebub. With that said, I summoned Beelzebub to see what the spirit wanted, as I knew it was calling me. I essentially came to find out that it was Beelzebub that came. It was an instant recognition. Anyways, I summoned this entity, Beelzebub, and I told it to teach me how to communicate with the dead. And then I felt a cloud just engulf me. And if I can explain it, it felt as if the vitality and the energy, my life force was being sucked out of me. And it felt really grim. It felt really uncomfortable. I was teleported to a vision where there was another life. There was another life on the other side of death. Now, what that other side looks like was not revealed. I can't make sense of it. So, the life you live now will dictate the life that will follow after death. And essentially, what the work is, ladies and gents, is your own evolution. the lesson that I learned from this, yes, there's another side to life. Okay. And depending on what that is, that unimaginable life that awaits on the other side of death, depending on what that's going to be, all depends upon how you live this life. And this life is about purification. It's about learning. It's about growing. Purification in regards to all the energetic resonance that you have within you. These shadow aspects of ourselves dwell deep within the subconscious. And although they may be buried and far from your awareness, they will be triggered and they will rise to the surface. So it's absolutely paramount to analyze yourself and see what are these things that you must work on that you have deeply buried within yourself. And this is another thing that I've learned working with Beelzebub. This entity brought up some tremendous shadows that I have completely forgotten since childhood. I'm talking about reaching back to memories that is unordinary. With that said, it's paramount that you scrutinize yourself and realize what it is that you need to change so that you can become pure. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be carrying this negative energy, this dense energy. Mind you, energy of this realm moves at a slow rate. The more material, the slower the vibration. Consider water. When you freeze water, the atomic particles get stiff. They expand and they get stiff, and eventually it seems as if they're not moving. If you heat up water, the atomic particles begin to bounce and it goes into a frenzy and the water starts to spill out of the pot. Furthermore, it starts to transform into vapor, okay, into more and more energy. So the higher the vibration, the higher the rate, the more pure you are. Now, if you're operating from this realm, which is of survival and, we need fear in order to be alert, so on and so forth, but these are mundane tendencies, all right? So by carrying this trauma or by carrying these shadows, whatever it is that you need to work on, whether it's a negative self-belief, whether it's, something you're ashamed of, or whatever it may be, or maybe some trauma regarding someone hurting you. I mean, there's people that have been abused. There's people that have undergone some serious fucking shit. And to be carrying this energy for years upon years until death, ladies and gents, that energy will affect where you are going next. Okay? So the idea is to purify yourself. It is tremendous work and it is not easy, but you best get aware of yourself sooner than later. Another thing that was revealed to me by working with the dead and this angel of death was that God permeates the entire universe, including the infernal realm. We are inclined to think of the infernal realm as evil, but it is simply something that opposes life, and its opposition is necessary. Its opposition is necessary in this binary world. With that said, God was revealed to me. It is a system of interconnections. Okay? That is what was revealed to me when it comes to God. God is in everything. God permeates everything, including the infernal realm. And every fragment of that. Okay? So all the ancient gods, all the angels, all of you, all the demons, these are all fragments. These are all parts. These are all interconnections of this entire reality that is what makes up God. So God is not an entity. God is not something singular. God is, as mentioned, it appeared to me as this interconnected system. Ladies and gents, in the next video, I'm going to get into the intricacies of the subconscious, understanding of how the subconscious works through its languages. So the subconscious categorizes the information. Okay, for instance, it relates love with hearts or a rose. Okay, it works in symbolic methods. That is why the tarot is so powerful, because it's just a language of pure symbols. So when you see a spread before you, you're seeing a combination of symbols that are activating different parts of your mind at an unconscious level. Okay, so this subconscious is what makes the foundation of what we experience as reality. Whether it's a skewed perspective of reality or whether it's the ultimate fantasy reality that you live in and it's real because that is what you're experiencing. The subconscious is paramount in understanding occult sciences, because this is your main tool. The mind is your main tool. As we've heard, the Hermetic principles, those teachings are saturated with the emphasis of mental power, mentalism, and consciousness, and the power of the consciousness. So we're going to get into that, as well as the different ritualistic practices, all right, such as sigil magic. I'm going to read you something before I finish this video. And this is the key. This is the key that you're going to be using when performing sigil magic. However, there is a lot more that I need to go in depth about, such as planetary hours, planetary days, their influences. I'll give you an example. Friday is the day of Venus. In Spanish, es Venus, viernes. Saturday is associated with Saturn. Sunday, the sun. Monday, the moon. There's 7 original planets. And while working with these can be just as powerful as using lunar influences in your magic. In fact, all this should be combined. Nevertheless, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into the sigil creation. And I'm going to show you a simple sigil that I created. And I'm going to show you different methods and different approaches to creating sigil. Now, I originally, when doing my investigation, I would read something, but then working with entities such as angels as well as dark angels, I have learned completely different methods, and now this is what I'm going to read you. Now this is a note that I created that was basically a teaching, something that I learned while working in deep rituals. So it says, get yourself to that deep meditative state. See yourself sitting down holding the sigil before you with concentration and energy alone. So imagine nothing, pure darkness, and with a tunnel, or rather a light, a beam of light, and you're sitting down, okay, on whatever type of surface you want, and you're sitting down only in this light surrounded by pure darkness. Okay, this allows your mind to concentrate, far from distractions. The darkness is not something you should fear. And if you fear, you need to look on that, and you need to work on that. You need to see where that stems from, and you need to begin to transform that fear. You shouldn't fear anything within your own mind, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that said, see yourself upholding the sigil through sheer mental will, simultaneously converting it into different forms. So you want to see yourself, imagine you're sitting down like this, and in the darkness, you're creating a massive sigil, possibly with vines, earth vines coming out and creating this sigil, and then from there you can transform it by transforming it into fire and burning this, and then freezing that, and essentially you're activating your imagination and you're concentrating on that vibrational intelligence, whatever sort of intention you put on that sigil, right? That's essentially what you are, the energy that you're cultivating. And furthermore, you're expanding your imagination, and your imagination, as mentioned, this is the unlimited factor, or this is the unlimited faculty of the human mind. While your intellect is limited, your imagination is boundless. So you need to grow this imagination. The imagination is possibly the greatest tool. In fact, I feel, if I'm correct, Albert Einstein said something regarding that. So the expansion of your imagination, the growth of your imagination is absolutely paramount, ladies and gents. Mind you, your reality can only go as far as you can take your thinking. Now, you can transform the sigil. You can see yourself, right? You're deep in meditation, and you can see yourself from a third-person perspective doing this with pure will and concentration, or you can see yourself through your eyes. Change the different perspectives of this entire experience, ladies and gents. Okay? By doing this, you are activating completely different aspects of yourself on a psychological level. So not only are you experiencing this experience through your eyes, but from outside of you. Now, consider that the mind cannot differentiate between what is imagined and what is real. Okay? So if you put yourself through a fearful thought, your heart's going to begin to race, and you're going to begin to get unnerved. Same thing when working this energy. If you put yourself in a godly realm and you're creating this reality, what do you think you're producing within yourself? A fucking magical experience. And that's exactly what you need to create within you in order to influence your external reality. Okay, this is the power of sigil magic. Now, with that said, it says, transforming mercury into silver, freeze it and turn it into water, melt it as it turns into gold. Work your way into converting the sigil into something that emits rays of light, beaming into the darkness surrounding you. Do not be restrained in how far you take your imagination. Push your imaginative boundaries. This will grow in time alongside your abilities and working energy. So one thing that you should be able to experience is actually reaching a state of bliss, reaching different states of consciousness. If you've done this correctly, you did take yourself into a trance state or a self-hypnosis state of mind where you put yourself in another realm and you completely experience this. This was entirely real within your personal experience. Okay? This has effect in the energetic world. Now, from doing this type of magic, there's lots to take from. Not only are you expanding your imagination, but you're charging energy towards a specific intention that you're seeking to manifest into your life. Skills of concentration. And the list goes on, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Charging the sigil, this is one method, but there are other methods as well, which I'm going to get into. All right. This is something that I simply wanted to share. Now, I know those that have already done sigil magic or are familiar with this type of work, you guys can take this. But for you others that have no experience regarding this type of magic, I got something for you. All right. I'm going to be laying down the foundations and I'm going to give you enough tools for you to do your own experiments when it comes to manifesting whatever it is that you want. Whatever it is that you want. It just requires devotion, requires time and dedication. Okay. My method of using sigil magic is not like the conventional methods of, oh, do this, charge the sigil, and then release it and never think about it again. In order for you to co-create along with the energy that you're sending out, I feel that you have to embed these behavioral patterns, these belief systems deep within your psyche, and continuous ritual is required for that. You don't create a habit overnight. You're not going to live poorly and then the next day say, well, it's a full moon, I'm doing a money ritual and I'm going to get filthy rich, and deep down at a core level you don't resonate with that. Your magic isn't going to work, ladies and gents. You have to be entirely aligned mentally, spiritually, emotionally in the work that you're doing in order for you to get results when it comes to manifestation. So this sigil magic, you are embedding this information deep within yourself and it's becoming an actual belief and an energy that you hold within you that will attract circumstances and will attract whatever it is that you're wanting. It's really that simple, but it requires time and devotion. Now, many of you watching this can't even concentrate for 1 single minute. You want to learn the ways of the mind and transforming your reality by transforming your own belief systems? Well, first learn how to concentrate for a few minutes, at least 20. Be able to sit there and look forward to meditating, because that is where you're going to explore the deeper parts of reality in your own self. Nevertheless, ladies and gents, this is essentially the second part of the video, but there's a continuation to this. All right. There's a continuation and I look forward to getting a lot more intricate. I'm also going to give you representations of a sigil that I created so that you can get a visual idea of how simple it truly is to just, create some sort of symbolic tool to facilitate a mental transformation. Looking forward to it, ladies and gents. I hope you took something of this video. All right. I'm quite inspired to giving you the tools. Now, if you haven't heard of sigil magic and you're interested, go do your homework. There's plenty of online sources. Go to YouTube. There's plenty of that will tell you the history of it, that will tell you this and that. I'm just going to tell you, what I feel you need in order to just jump into it and start doing the work and start learning this, because whatever it is that any other practitioner is putting out there, I promise it's going to be different from what you're going to experience. All right. It's good to gather information from different sources, but when it actually comes to the experimentation, this is your own personal journey. This is, as we heard, spirituality is a personal experience. Ladies and gents, until next time.